Hey there, and welcome to another Dave Does video. And this video is targeted at one very specific person, Mr. JS Clayden from Pitchshifter. Now, the reason this video is specifically targeted for Mr. Clayden is due to the fact that we're doing a 12-part YouTube series of how to meet your idols in 6 months or less. There is 3 of us doing this. This is me, myself and I, Kirk and Andy. Kirk is a author and also a lead editor for the website Screen Blast Repeat, and Andy is the guitarist for the band Nomadic Rain and a massive lifelong metalhead. And it's for us to go from our different sort of areas and kind of we all got to pick 5 people or 5 musicians that were icons for us. May not be icons for like obvious ones like Aussies and stuff like that are specifically icons for other people or for people in general, but these were people within our own realms that we felt were iconic to us, and Mr. JS Clayden was one of mine. Now, the reason I picked JS Clayden is, one, Pitchshifter was part of my journey of broadening my musical horizons, I guess. It was Deviant had come out, and a friend of mine called James had said, "You've got to listen to this album," and he played it to me, and instantly I was like, it's got elements of the electronica going on it, but it's still very heavy. It's very cool, it's very accessible. Vocally, it's not too overly aggressive, where it's just like in your face, which is kind of weird, because then you could think about their history of their earlier stages with things like Underachiever and stuff like that, where it was just full on aggression. And again, this is part of the reasons I'd like to speak to Mr. JS Clayden about this, is because it's an interesting transition of how the band moved to where they started to where they finished on PSI. The aggression is always there, but they just made it so much more accessible by the time they got to the end. And it was sad, because actually when they got to the end, after you did Pitchshifter.com and then they came out with PSI was a great album, but never really got the mainstream success that it really deserved. And it's a shame, because it was such a good album. But I really want to talk to him about the transition, the movement. Was Pitchshifter just ahead of its time, just too far ahead of its time? If a band like Pitchshifter came out now, would it be more accepted? Were they because they're the forerunners of bands like Prodigy? I don't know. There's definitely elements in there that I would love to sort of get his viewpoints on, but for me, open my eyes to a whole kind of different element of music. And the fact that you don't have to be, if it's just heavy metal, hard rock, it doesn't have to be good leads, guitar solos, heavy chunky riffs, and there is definitely other elements you can throw in there. And I loved that about why that kind of came into it. And why did I pick JS Clayden versus anyone else in the band? Well, he's the figurehead of the band. His humour on stage, it makes you feel comfortable with him. So even though he's got this great banter on stage and stuff like that, and you don't know him personally, it makes you feel that you do. It's like that saying that people go, "Oh, he'd be a great guy to go down the pub and have a pint with." That's how you feel about him, or that's how I personally feel about it. And it'd be great to have that interview with him, whether it's a face-to-face or if it's just a video Zoom call talking about music, would be amazing. Now, if we can make this happen, I would be greatly appreciative, because it is a competition between me and the other 2 guys to see who can interview all 5 of theirs. And I'm not winning on this one at the moment, so I need all the help we can, and it would be great to actually have a chance to speak to some of these amazing icons. Let me know in the comments down below if you can help, or if Mr. JS Clayden is watching. Details of how to get in touch with me, and let me know in the description down below, and I will keep pursuing people on Instagrams and Facebook messengers and emails, etc. And I look forward to hopefully interviewing you at some point in the future. Take care.